What's up, guys? It's Jordan with Laundromat Resource Podcast, and this is show 73. And I'm pumped you're here today because today we're going to get social. We got Brittany Centers on the podcast today talking about how you can utilize social media to help you improve your business. We haven't done an episode like this yet, and it's super good. You're going to love it. Tons of practical tips, tricks on how to manage your social media, what you should be posting, what platforms you should be on, what your goal should be. I mean, we go through a ton of stuff on this. It's really, really good episode with Brittany today. So you're going to love it. Real quick, before we jump into it with Brittany, I want to just take a second. I haven't really done this in a little while, but welcome a bunch of the new members. A ton of you guys have been signing up every single day. It's been like seriously wild to see how fast everything's been growing. It's been pretty crazy. But a few of you guys have posted over the last few days on the new members introduction forum, which you should go check out, laundromatresource.com/forums. Click on the new member introductions. Go introduce yourself to the community over there. And, that link, all the other links from this whole episode will be in the show notes, which you can find at laundromatresource.com/show 73. Or if you're on YouTube, all those links will be down below in the description. So quick, just want to say welcome to Caleb, Michelle, Scott, Steven, Jonathan, Chris, Tara, Kelsey, and more. That's just in the last week or so. Just so cool over there. Make sure you're heading over there and going to meet those guys, introduce yourself, welcome them to the community, and then jump into some of the other forums that we have over there. We have a bunch of forums over there. Commercial real estate. We have a financing forum. We have laundromat general forum. We have a repairs forum. Go jump over there, join some conversations, ask a question, answer a question. Just a quick highlight of some of the conversations going on over there in the laundromat forums. We're talking about coin collections, contingency verbiages, what to do with old inventory, laundromat insurance, laundromat business plans, equipment inspection companies for due diligence, demographics in Australia. Pretty crazy. Ideas for a small space. There's all kinds of app or credit card. Machine price. There's bookkeeping, franchise model. There's a lot of conversations happening over there on the forum. So go jump in there, whether you have similar questions and you want to jump in a conversation, or maybe you have something to contribute to those discussions. Go be a part of it. And it's what makes everything that's happening at Laundromat Resource worth it. We can give a ton of information over here and it's all good and helpful. But by far, the thing I get most excited about is when I get to connect with you guys and when you guys get to connect with each other, and we're all helping each other elevate our businesses, taking us to the next level together. So jump in over there. And there's more conversations going on in the other forums. That's just the laundromat forum. There's discussions going on in the financing forums and the commercial real estate forum, all kinds of stuff going on over there. So go check it out, laundromatresource.com/forums over there. Also, just real quick, I want to point you to laundromatresource.com/events. We have stuff going on all the time. We have a free live webinar every single week. You can check those out over there. This week, if you're listening to this when this is first coming out, this week is on how to buy your first laundromat. Next week, very cool, very excited to have the human laundromat encyclopedia himself, Andrew Cunningham, is going to be joining me for the webinar on how to sell your laundromat for the most money. All right. So whether you own a laundromat and you're thinking about selling now, or if you own a laundromat and you may sell someday, or if you're thinking about buying a laundromat, there's going to be tips for everybody, no matter what phase you're in. And how to sell your laundromat for the most money, how to get it prepped, what you should be doing before you buy your laundromat to prep it to sell it for the most money, what you should be doing when you own your laundromat to make it worth the most, to raise the value the most when you are ready to sell it, and obviously what you should be doing when you're actually prepping it to sell. So super cool. I'm like super excited about that. And there's going to be a pretty big announcement coming on that live webinar, which I'm very, very excited about. That'll be the first place that goes out. And then you'll start hearing about it it'll start trickling out other avenues too. So anyways, laundromatresource.com/events. We got stuff going on all the time. So join us, check it out. Super cool. Okay. Man, I am just super excited for this conversation with Brittany. I thoroughly enjoyed it and learned a lot about social media and laundromats. I've always struggled with what do I do with a Facebook page or an Instagram account for a laundromat? Who's going to follow that and why? And what should I be communicating with them? So we get into that and a whole lot more in this episode. Let's jump into it right after this word from our sponsor. All right, guys, today's episode is brought to you by AtmosphereTV. You may remember back in episode 34 when AtmosphereTV's Mike Kelly joined me on the podcast. It was an epic episode. If you haven't listened to it, show 34, laundromatresource.com/show 34. Go check it out. It's incredible. A ton of value there. One of the things we talked about is just the importance of creating a good, positive atmosphere in your laundromat. And I was just rereading the book by Simon Sinek, Start With Why. And one of the things that really stands out to me is that people don't make purchase decisions based on, the logic of any decision that they're making to spend their money. It's more based on a feeling and an association. And so it's really important to create a positive feeling, a positive atmosphere, no pun intended, in your laundromat to help people associate this chore that most people don't like doing with something positive. Atmosphere TV is an incredible way to help improve the atmosphere of your laundromat. And basically, if you haven't heard of it, what it is it has 50 plus channels created specifically for businesses with everything from sports clips, hilarious fail videos, draw-dropping videos from all over the world. There's automobile channels. There's a ton of stuff. My kids love it, and my customers love it. Atmosphere TV could be a great way to either supplement your cable, or a lot of us laundromat owners are cutting our cable bill completely and running Atmosphere TV. They're designed to be used with no audio, but they also do have an audio option. That way you can kind of design the atmosphere of your laundromat the way that you want it. So get rid of cable, get rid of those news channels that are bringing negativity into your laundromat, and fill your laundromat with positive videos that bring positive vibes to your customers with Atmosphere TV. And if you use the code word, the keyword, the promo code, promo code resource, then they're going to waive your setup fee. And now everything is going to be free. There's no monthly fee for it. You can use it for free in your laundromat, and it's going to vibe to your atmosphere. So check out atmosphere.tv. I'll put a link down in the description on YouTube or in the show notes. Check it out there. Make sure you use the keyword resource. That way you can get that thing for free. Or if you'd like, email Mike at mike.kelly@atmosphere.tv. Brittany, thank you for coming on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
To be honest, I'm a little bit nervous, and let me tell you why. I know that we'll get there in a second, but I know you're from the South, and my family is all from Tennessee. And I get nervous when I talk to people from the South because I slowly develop my accent back and it starts to come back. So I'm a little nervous. I'm going to be straight up Southern by the end of this thing. But yeah.
Yes, that could be a possibility.
I know. I already get made fun of for my quote unquote accent here anyways. But hey, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are? Because this is a little bit of a unique episode that I'm very excited about. And I think you're going to help a lot of people. But why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are?
Well, my name is Brittany Centers, and I am from Kentucky. I own a marketing company called Center Social, and we have over 100 clients now, and we have over 80 laundromats that we do marketing for. I started the company in 2014, but legally it was all filed in 2015 because I didn't quite realize what was going to happen. But the cool fact is that I'd never been in a laundromat until I started marketing one.
This is pretty awesome because that's actually kind of like a lot of laundromat owners that I talk to. Like, I've never actually used a laundromat until I bought one.
Yes. Well, I've been a guest speaker at a lot of laundromat shows, and my husband is a high school teacher, and we both have slowly realized like how amazing laundromats are, and we're actually trying to own our own laundromat. Yeah. So we have 3 boys, and eventually we'd like to leave each of them a laundromat.
I was thinking you have free labor already built in. So,
we do.
Yeah. How old are they?
5, 2, and 10 months.
Oh my goodness. You were in the thick of it. But
yes,
fun ages, super fun ages. But man, it's a lot of work when they're that age.
that it is. They're the 5-year-old and my husband are both on fall break this week, so everybody's home, and I'm not quite used to that anymore.
Can't handle that. Yeah. That's pretty funny. Oh man, so that means we're gonna have you back on the podcast at some point as a laundromat owner and not as a marketing expert. So
yes, we are negotiating right now, so hopefully soon it will happen. Yes.
You're like deep into the process. You caught the bug.
Yes. Well, so I've been marketing laundry since 2016, 2017.
Okay.
So it's been a long time. I actually started with a laundry in Lexington, Kentucky, but it was all Speed Queen.
Okay.
And I know in California, most of the time it's Dexter. Like Speed Queen.
We got a lot of Speed Queen here too.
Oh. And so I actually, since I really need to look up the date, but since 2016, 2017, I've been doing the marketing for Star Distributing, which is a Speed Queen distributor. Mm-hmm. And still, we're still doing, but I've been guest speakers at their show and everything. And that's how I got introduced into the laundry business. Was I met up with Michael Davis, who is the owner of Star Distributing. Okay. And they also own Parts King, which is a global parts distributor. And so I was doing the shows, and then it just led to, other laundromat owners, and then some Dexter owners were at the show. And then it led to me being a speaker at Dexter shows. And so it's just gone.
That's like the power of networking in action right there, right? You get your foot in one door, and then you just kind of work your way all through.
Yes.
Now here you are. I mean, you're probably going to be just overwhelmed with people by the end of this thing. So,
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, we are prepared for that. We've been working with a major distributor with like some other stuff that's going on. So we hope so.
Awesome. All right. Well, take me back a little bit. So that's kind of how you got into laundromat marketing. Can you tell me a little bit about your background to get into marketing?
Yes. So I went to the University of
Louisville.
No,
Louisville.
Louisville.
Okay.
And I was a biology major, like from the time that I was
naturally,
I don't know, 4. And I was raised in Eastern Kentucky, which anything that you ever have heard about Eastern Kentucky about like dirt floors, no electricity, no shoes, whatever, that's the part of Eastern Kentucky that I'm from.
Okay.
However, I wasn't like, I was raised on the more like privileged side of Eastern Kentucky, but not to discredit my parents or say that they just like handed me loads and loads of money. Like my parents, neither one of my parents went to college. Like they worked very hard for what they got, but one of my mom had 2 daughters, and she put us both through college. And one of the most powerful statements to me, after I had already graduated college, is she looked at me and said, "I would have dug ditches to get you through college." Mm. So that's kind of like the background, like very, very hardworking parents. Like,
Coming
and
from
I
a
didn't
good
even,
stock. Yeah.
yeah, I didn't even realize it, at the time, but they wanted more for us. And so, I went to the University of Louisville, which I am the second person ever. So, Louisville is in Kentucky, but I'm the second person that I know of to ever attend the University of Louisville from where I'm from.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah. It's 3 hours away. So,
yeah, it's a big deal.
It is. Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. And so I was a biology major. I really wanted to be a doctor. And then I woke up one day, my senior year, and I was like, I do not want to do this. Like, I was just burnt out.
Yeah.
And my sister is 8 years older than me, and she's a teacher. She's a teacher in JCPS, which is Jefferson County Public Schools. It's Louisville. And whenever I told her, I was like, I don't want to do this. I want to do business. And the older sister, like, she was always very hard on me and all that stuff. But she looked at me and she goes, it's about time.
So she saw.
Yeah. Yeah. That I was like, when I said business, she was like, it's about time. Like, I knew that this is what you were supposed to do.
Yeah. So did you finish your biology degree or did you change majors? What'd you do?
No, I graduated with a business administration degree.
Okay. Did it take you a lot longer or were you able to?
One extra year.
Yeah.
So I took, I even took 18 hours in the summer. Whew. Yeah. Just to get out. The true story is my parents were really tired of paying for college.
I bet.
Like, I knew I had to get out.
I was out there digging ditches and you're changing majors.
She really didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
But she would have. But she was at her like wit's end, like, I'm done. Like, get out. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you graduated, then you went and got a marketing job. What happened?
This is what I got lucky or by the grace of God.
Okay.
So I live in Bardstown, Kentucky, which is bourbon capital of the world. And I originally started working for a marketing company out of Louisville, and I was trying to close a big deal. And I was like, I would really like to work there in the bourbon industry. And so I went and asked him for a job. And I was 23 and I became a marketing director of a multi-million-dollar company. But it was like a startup company, but it was still a multi-million-dollar company. So it was a Strong Spirits. It's a contract bottling company. They bottle distilled spirits. I don't know a whole lot about them anymore, but whenever I was there, it was a lot of bourbon and a lot of big bourbon brands that you would know now.
Yeah, crazy. So, I mean, it's funny because when I got into marketing, I randomly and weirdly was doing marketing for a casino, but I feel like, casinos, they're really marketing companies. And I feel same with like alcohol. Yes, they have, the gambling side of things and they have the alcohol side of things, but really they're big marketing companies. So, but it's pretty cool to land that position and to be able to learn in a company like that, where you're basically just thrown in the deep end and like, hey, here you go.
100%. Like for many years, I've said, knowing what I know now, I would have paid them to let me work for him.
Yeah. Yeah. But even better to get paid by them to learn and work for them.
Yeah. And so while I was there, I had some people in the community. So my husband is a high school music director, and he was a church director at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And some people in our church started asking like, hey, can you do my social medias? Can you do my social media? And I was like, yeah, I can. Yeah, I can. And then that's whenever I realized that there was a business in this. And that was in 2014.
Okay. And at that point you were doing both still, right? You were still working at your director of marketing position, and so you're doing a lot of marketing, long hours.
Yes. It was minimum 16 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah. No rest.
And then in December 18th, 2015, I left to work for myself.
Okay. And you got the date, the see you later, I'm on my own date. That's awesome. That's a huge date. Do you celebrate that every year with a glass of bourbon?
Yeah. I don't. But what makes it even more special is that I was actually pregnant with my first child at that date.
Oh, man. Awesome. Awesome. So you did celebrate that date.
Yeah.
Okay. So you started your own company, and then, I mean, what were you doing early on? How did you turn that into an actual company where you could leave your job?
I really have always been good at sales. Like, I've had a lot of other sales jobs, and I know that sounds like salespeople are sometimes very shady. And I always, like, when I'm training employees or anything like that in sales, I always say, don't be the used car salesman. But I've always been pretty good at sales and meeting people and talking to people. And that's just where it started. And it's just grown. There were many years where I was out there hitting the pavement, cold calling on businesses to try to do their marketing, to try to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And then it just so happens that we entered the laundromat world, which, not that I'm still not out there cold calling, because we are training, but we oftentimes have a lot of laundromat owners that reach out to us and to want us for their marketing. Awesome. And I love to hear that. I love to hear that you're still pounding the pavement, still looking to grow. I mean, you got 100 clients, and sounds like you're rearing to get some more and ready to rearing, dude. That's a very Southern thing to say, I feel like. Do you guys say that? Rearing to go. That's happening. I got really intrigued when you were talking about bourbon, and I just looked up some fun facts on bourbon. And one of them was there are more barrels of bourbon than people in Kentucky. It's crazy. Yeah. That's a lot of bourbon. And 95% of all bourbon is coming out of there. So, yes. Pretty cool. So bourbon's produced other places, but it's kind of a sore subject. With people from Kentucky, if they're in the bourbon industry, it's not really bourbon. Got it. That's what we say. Real bourbon has to come from Kentucky. Yes. According to people from Louisville. All right. So, I mean, here's what I want to get into a little bit today. I mean, I hear from a lot of owners hey, do I need to have this social media or this social media for my laundromat? I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what to post. I think people have a hard time wrapping their heads around, what do we do with social media as a laundromat? Who's going to follow us? Why would they even care? Why would they follow us? So I thought maybe we could chat a little bit about that for a little bit and get your take as the pro on what laundromats should be doing and how that's going to help them benefit their business. So, go ahead. Absolutely. So let's break it down into 3 different categories of client for a laundromat. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you have the self-service laundromat clients. And unfortunately, those are usually a lot of times stay-at-home moms or in poorer parts of the area, that kind of stuff. And I hate to say that, but it's just the facts. Okay. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be on social media, especially on Facebook, Instagram, while they're sitting, or TikTok, while they're sitting there waiting for their clothes to be washed, clothes to be dry, whatever. And then you have the middle of the road, which is wash, dry, fold. And they're going to be on social media, not as often as the self-service. But then the third category will be the pickup and delivery. Mm-hmm. So each of those are a different demographic. Now, sometimes, yes, they can overlap, but primarily they're not. And so one of the reasons about social media, do you follow TikTok a lot? I wouldn't say a lot, but I've been on it. I go on it every now and then, check out what's going on over there.
I get sucked in too easily. You know what I mean?
So
I just roll one right into the other, and I'm like, well, how do I stop?
So how many lawyers or doctors do you see on TikTok?
I can't remember ever seeing any.
Oh, well, normally it's a lot.
Okay.
Maybe you should spend a lot more time on TikTok.
Maybe I need more time on TikTok. I want to write that down. Put more time on TikTok. That's going to be my one action step from this goal is go hang out on TikTok more. Okay. Go ahead.
So the doctors and lawyers, they're all on TikTok. They're all on social media, which is the third category of pickup and delivery, because normally that's your targeted demographic.
Mm-hmm.
A higher class people that are going to be able to afford the pickup and delivery, depending on where you are.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how we kind of break it down. And with social media, with radio, television, all that stuff back in the day, you didn't know who was going to see your ads or who was going to see your brand. But now you can specifically target those people. So if we work for a client that does self-service, wash, dry, fold, and pickup and delivery, then at that point we're running 3 different campaigns specifically to target those different demographics.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so I want to get a little bit more into that here in a second, but let me back up a little bit, because now you're bringing up TikTok, making me feel like very old and out of touch, and So let me ask you this: what platforms should laundromats be on, or should they be exploring?
That is a difficult question, but 100%.
I brought the pro to answer the hard stuff.
100% Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
So every platform has a different demographic. So, and with that being said, like if you're in a huge college town and you just want to call it or target college individuals, then you need to be on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok.
Okay. What about if I'm just in regular old suburbia or even an urban area? Do I need to be on TikTok, Snapchat?
Facebook and Instagram is what you 100% need to be on. Okay. TikTok and Snapchat. Snapchat has been around for so long and it's still just hanging on. Do I think that it's going to grow in the future? I don't. It's one of those things where all social media, it develops, teenagers are on it, then their parents start to get on it and they jump off. So no, I don't think Snapchat's going to be around forever. And plus their advertising costs are out of this world.
That's good to know.
TikTok is going to be around for a while. And it's the fastest growing social media network ever. So if you're on TikTok, there's 90-year-olds, 80-year-olds on TikTok. And it grew so quickly. That's never been done before. TikTok was a game changer. TikTok is very important for businesses, especially if you're targeting younger people.
Okay, let's back up for a second, because now you're telling me there's 80, 90-year-olds on there. So now I don't just feel old, I just feel way out of touch. So tell me, okay, I'm a laundromat owner. I am a laundromat owner. Okay, so I'm a laundromat owner. What in the world should I be doing on TikTok? What do I put on there?
That's a complicated question. Do you do wash, dry, fold, or pick up and delivery?
Yeah.
Okay. Just one great example would be a video of the clothes being loaded into a van or car, whatever you do for delivery. Or a prime example. Have you heard the song? Man, I wish my husband was in here because I cannot sing. That's his thing.
I've never heard that.
But oh, no. Oh, I cannot do it. No.
Turn it loose.
No, that is
okay. The answer to your question is probably no. I don't listen to a whole lot of music, but okay.
Me either. But it's a TikTok thing where it's oh no, and then oh no, and it's when something bad ads. So say that you are loading in to your van a big bag of clothing that's been folded or something, and say that it like accidentally spills. And then you like pair that song with it, and then lots of people would watch that, especially mothers. And then you could target them in their area because they all know how terrible it is, especially when like your children grab your newly folded clothing and pull it off.
Right. Just if you're listening on the podcast, that accidentally was in quotes.
Yeah.
Production, not. So like having fun with it, right? And kind of showing behind the scenes, but also having a little fun with it, making it a little, entertaining to watch.
Well, that's the number one thing that people struggle with social media is that, you can have companies out there that are strictly just always professional, but that's not what social media is, especially for laundromats. Social media, it's real life. People want to see what's really going on. They don't want like over the top professional pictures or videos, which we do videos and pictures and, all of that stuff. But they also want it to be real life. They want to see what's really going on. It's like part of the stories that are on Instagram and Facebook now. And it's strictly that because people buy from who they like. And if they feel a connection with you, then they're going to attend your store or use wash, dry, fold, or pick up and delivery.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I like that because I do think that, when older people like me try to get on younger platforms, that's so funny. Anyways, try to get on platforms, right? Like a lot of times we're just trying to, say, hey, I have this option, or it's, it gets very businessy, gets very formal. And, those kinds of platforms like the Instagram stories, like the TikTok, like that stuff, they like a little bit more entertainment value and yes, informational also. There's a ton of great informational stuff on there that I'm sure that you can, add to with, I don't know, stain removers or how to use your app. I don't know, but mixing in some of the fun stuff too, and a little more entertaining as a way to communicate that your business is there and what your business does. You can do it in some fun ways.
Yes. Well, and also one of the biggest suggestions for laundromat owners is that oftentimes they don't realize that social media is all an algorithm. Like the way that you're posting, everything that you're posting, it all matters. Like the date, the time, the pictures that you're posting. So say that you go to Google and you download a picture and use that stock photo. The algorithm knows that that's not your photo. And they're going to push you down and not allow the exposure that you're wanting. Which there's often times where we have clients that aren't quite open yet and that we have to use some stock photos. But even then, we don't recommend. That's why we do like photo shoots. We have so many clients in California that we actually have a photographer and a video editor or videographer in California because you want it to be real content. And even if you pay for it, which we pay for some stock photos every month, but we try not to use them unless we absolutely have to. Because even though we're paying for them, they know, the algorithm knows that it's stock photos. So you want the organic content. You want people to realize this is our laundromat. This is what it is. Like, come visit us.
Yeah, I love that. Well, I want to talk, if we can, chat about a couple of the other platforms and like what we should be doing on those platforms, if that's okay. And then I have some other questions. I've been writing down a ton of questions. So we may be here all day. I don't know. Just kidding. Maybe. I don't know. All right. So you said 100% be on Facebook, be on Instagram. Let's take Facebook first. What do we need on Facebook? What should we be doing on Facebook? How do we engage people on Facebook?
So that is a 2-part question.
Okay.
So a lot of times I have laundromat owners that will say like, oh, I only got 2 likes. let's be real honest. Whoever or anyone, do you ever look at some laundry and want to click like?
I'm going to go with no, not even as a laundromat owner.
No, you don't. So I describe it as like Disney. Do you have children or nieces or nephews or anything like that?
I got children. Yeah.
All right.
2 kids.
So how many times do you see something with a Disney logo on it?
Well, we go to Disneyland at least once a week usually. So at least once a week, but probably more than that.
Yes. So you're kind of the exception to the rule. So let's pretend you didn't have children and that you had nieces and nephews.
Okay. We do have those also.
Yes. You would see the Disney logo so often. And usually like if someone doesn't have children, then they like think about it and they realize, oh, I see that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to get you to make that purchasing decision, even if you don't have children, because, you know, you have grandparents, you have aunts, uncles, all of those. And so that's what we want for a laundromat owner, is because laundry is not that exciting. There's no way you can spin it to be that exciting. I mean, yes, you can do
what you did there. Spin it like a dryer or a washer. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, there's just no way to do it for it to be over the top exciting, like Disney, for example. But it's the reach. So in the back end of what we do, it's that we're targeting people to get their eyes on your brand. Mm-hmm. And it's the same way with Disney. The more times that they can get your eyeballs on their brand, then the more likely you are to make that purchasing decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So even if we're posting on Facebook and it's getting just a couple of likes, what you're saying is there's more eyeballs that are seeing it, and that in combination with the other stuff that you're doing is helping brand exposure. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. It's the back end for laundromats that matters.
Okay.
Like the ads that you're running, the targeting that you're running, all of that. Right. Now, it's also very important to keep posting those posts that are maybe just like getting 2 likes, because a lot of times clients will go and look at your social media to see if you're a reliable business or if you're real, because there are lots of, scams out there. And so your social media is actually like a
like social
verification.
Yeah, verification. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you're right. People will go look up your business on different platforms and stuff and see if you're there. Okay, so you said it's for Facebook. It's the back end that matters. And can you just explain what you mean by that a little bit more? I mean, you mentioned ads. What does that mean?
Truthfully, there are at least 20 different ads that you can run.
Okay.
And it really just depends on your demographic. You're always going to want to do like a local reach no matter what. Mm-hmm. And that's just putting it out there. And I've literally told you more than I normally tell people.
Oh, man, that's awesome. Okay. All right. So that's important for Facebook. So that's why it's important to have Facebook, right? Is so that you have an audience. It's one way to build an audience so that you can, target.
And the age. So like Facebook still, you're going to reach 35-year-olds to 80. Mm-hmm. Instagram, 20, maybe a little younger. Like this is all like subjective, but right. 20 on average to 45. And then you have Snapchat, which all of these platforms are growing. And that's where I would use the word evolution of social media platforms comes along, because then now there's TikTok. It was Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Well, it really started with MySpace, but we won't even talk about that.
Right. I got a MySpace floating out there somewhere, I think.
Me too. Me too. I was in middle school when MySpace came out. But so like there's always another platform, and that's why it's important or difficult for a laundromat owner to realize or to be on these platforms because, back in the day, most people didn't have washers and dryers, or it was just like go to wherever is local. But now we've entered a whole new world with the technology of machines, or if there's a laundromat that is 1 mile, or so that there's 2 laundromats 1 mile from each other. One is all old school machines and sketchy, and the other one is brand new machines. But how do we get those people? Sorry.
You're so popular.
I know, they're texting. People are texting me. How do we get those people to come from, if they're closer to that first laundromat that is run down, to your brand new laundromat? And that's where social media comes in. Because, TV commercials, a 2-year-old could be watching that, or radio. Who knows who's listening to that. But with social media, we can specifically target the people. Like, say that you own a laundromat where there's a bunch of apartment complexes nearby. Then we can target those specific apartment complexes to get those individuals that live in there into your laundromat.
Love that. And I think that is the power of social media and online marketing in general. Being able to target not only location, but also different demographics. And, Facebook specifically, you can get real specific income with hobbies, with, a whole bunch of different stuff. So you can get real targeted if you want there, and run different campaigns to different demographics, like you said, but you can even get more niche than just, self-serve, wash, dry, fold, pick up and delivery if you really wanted to. And,
we have clients in over 16 different states. So, and we study that. So it's all a study for us, and Tennessee, which we have lots of clients in Tennessee and Kentucky, but, it's like a minimum of a 5-mile radius. I apologize. I even have my phone on airplane mode, but we'll keep.
It's connected to the internet. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It got us.
Ironically, one of them is my client / best friend. So it's about work, but,
come on.
I know. Okay. So in Tennessee, it's a 5-mile radius minimum, and then it could go all the way up to 25-mile radius that would target people. But in California, you're at the absolute max is 5 miles that you're going to be targeting people. And we study all of that. Like if it's a laundromat that is in, a big shopping center, and there's a laundromat within a mile down the road, we study that laundromat and figure out a way to get your marketing on top of them.
I love that. Okay. Can you talk to me briefly about Instagram? Instagram, I feel like has been picking up for a little while now, has been picking up in popularity. Yes. But also, has been picking up in popularity with businesses in general. So can you talk to me a little bit about what should we be doing on Instagram? There's different ways to, post content. Maybe you can talk about that, and maybe a little bit different demographics. What should we be posting there? Do we stay funny? Do we get more serious? Do I post Facebook, my abs? What do I do?
Well, let's start from the beginning. So Facebook is a storytelling platform. Instagram is they use pictures to tell their stories. And then stories literally came along. And most people actually on Instagram no longer use or even scroll down through their news feed. Mm-hmm. And it's all about stories. Stories are taking over. And people on Instagram, they just want you to be real. They just want, original content, which is hard when you're running a business. And part of that is that you need people to do it for you, but it doesn't need to be anything for show. You don't even need to edit it. It just needs to be real content.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I'll post I'm pretty terrible at doing Instagram for laundromat resource stuff. But every now and then I'll post, on Instagram, and my post will get, I don't know, like 20 likes or 30 likes or something. But then I'll post something on my stories and it gets like a few hundred, eyeballs there. And it's like a pretty big, obviously more people are looking at the stories, but I think also part of that is by design that Instagram is going to, give you a little more views that way. But people are watching those stories.
So part of the, you're 100% correct. So Facebook owns Instagram. And they actually tried to buy Snapchat and they wouldn't sell it to them. And so then at that point they were like, okay. And so then that's when they started editing their platform. And that's when their stories started to come along and all of that. So that's where it's all transpiring from.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of the platforms, especially like the Facebook controlled platforms, are kind of cannibalizing the other platforms. For example, I accidentally did this. Because we were originally talking on Facebook Messenger, and I went to like refresh the screen or something, and I didn't even know you could do this, but it turned it into like a vanishing chat or something, basically like Snapchat where it goes away. And I was like, whoa, what happened? And like YouTube, for example, has, like stories basically, or reels that they have going on there. Instagram has the longer form Instagram TV, going on, which is more, YouTube-y than. So I feel like they're kind of cannibalizing each other's features in a way. Is that true? Or am I just old?
Yes and no. And this is how to describe it. So imagine a circle.
Okay, I can do that.
So if it's all working together, then it's all in like peace and
harmony.
Yeah, harmony. Yes. So it's all working together.
Yeah.
And so that is how it works. Because used to for Google, let's just talk about Google for a second.
Okay.
Whoever paid the most on Google was who was going to be on the top of Google searches. But then everybody started paying for Google. And so how do they decide who's going to be on top? And then that's whenever they started rating you on your social media, they started rating you on your website. So like if you're not updating your website at least once a month, like you are doing it wrong, especially for Google. Google ads are still very important. Like, don't get me wrong about that, but there's so much more to play with that. And your social media is in there. So like if you Google, I don't know, what's your laundromat's name?
Montebello Laundromat.
Okay. So if you Google that, does your Facebook come up?
No. My website does, but not my Facebook.
Well,
I haven't really updated my Facebook. I'll be honest with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So your Facebook should be coming up because social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that is becoming a search engine. And so people are going to, and when I say that, when COVID first hit, I had to go to North Carolina to film for some clients, and I couldn't find or it wasn't when it first hit. It was like in the middle to end of Corona. And I just wanted to eat out, like, because Kentucky, where I'm from, was still super shut down, but North Carolina was not. Like, they were more open. And I went to Google, and Google would tell me nothing. But I went to Facebook, and it was correct information of where I could go and eat in person. Like, it was still spaced out, like I'm all about the Corona. I'm vaccinated and getting ready to get the third, or, the booster and that kind of stuff. But I really just wanted to eat in a restaurant. But Facebook gave me that information and Google did not. Because social media is updated more frequently.
Yep.
And that is one of the powers of social media.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have to add in Facebook, you have to add in Instagram, you have to add in Google, you have to add in your website. And I mean, it's very complicated, if you're an individual business owner, but once you have it all working together, it works in harmony.
Yeah. Yeah. And going back to your Google thing, and going back also to what you said about, your social media is verification. Well, it's not just verification for customers who are looking you up. It's also verification for Google. They're waiting that, they want to see that you are a legitimate business, that you have some reviews on different platforms that specifically theirs, obviously. And that's why, Google My Business is such a big deal to help you show up in Google searches, but also, for people to find information on maps and Google. I mean, it's a tool that Google uses for verification purposes, that you have these social media platforms for your business and that they're semi-regularly updated, at least.
100%. And most of the time, whenever I first start working with a laundromat, if I say Google My Business, they have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I've said, I'm by far the best thing that most laundromat owners can do is claim their business on Google My Business and just update it once a week. Like add a picture, add a post, make sure your times are correct. And if you do that, you almost don't really even need anything else Google wise, because you're going to be one of the top laundromats in your area because nobody else is doing that.
That is true and not true, depending on your.
Let's do it.
It depends on your demographic. Like if you have, so like say that you did that, and then your neighbor 1 mile down the road did that. Yeah. Then who's going to be on top?
Yeah. Well, here in LA, it's a little bit different, because there's a lot of people here, and the competition is high. So you got to be on top of your game here. In any of the bigger metro areas, you got to be on top of your game.
Absolutely. Like in Kentucky or Tennessee, you could get by with that.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. I mean, are there any platforms to avoid, like that aren't going to be worth your time?
Twitter,
which is funny because just a couple days ago, from when we're recording this, at least, Facebook and Instagram shut down forever. And I heard there was like a mad flock to Twitter, people trying to figure out what was going on, which is pretty funny. But anyways, why Twitter? Tell me.
Twitter, when I first started this company, and Twitter's trying to make a comeback, which in a year or 2 years, it really could. Like, I can't foresee the future. But as of right now, it's Twitter. When I first started this company, I would say be on Facebook and Twitter. And that's what we would do. And then Instagram came along. And by no means am I being political with this, but political developments ruined Twitter. And it's all celebrities and political officials. Even still this day. Like most people, I mean, you can do all the... Oh, sorry, I just hit my computer. You can do all the Google searches. Most people aren't going on to Twitter to find a business. They're going on Twitter to find news or to be, updated on the newest thing that is out there.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, yeah, I for sure see that. Man, Twitter. It's been a rough go for Twitter the last couple of years, I feel like.
It 100% has been. Yeah. And I have not even pitched Twitter in years. 5. Yeah. Maybe 6. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a while since Twitter's been.
Yeah. I mean, it serves its point. I mean, if you want to know what Kim Kardashian is doing, then, it's great.
Probably Instagram's still better for that. I don't know.
Well, she'll at least upload a picture there.
Yeah, I guess depending on what you're interested about with Kim Kardashian. Okay. So, I got a question for you, but let me just start with this. And this is not directed to you. This is to anybody listening to this right now. I highly recommend, if you are going to, have a business, laundromat or otherwise, you need marketing. And if you're going to do marketing, it's going to pay off for you to hire somebody who knows marketing. You spend your time building your business. Let them spend their time helping you market your business and build your business that way. It's going to pay off more than trying to learn marketing yourself. But with all that said, and we're going to get to how you can get a hold of Brittany here in a second. But with all that said, if somebody wants to, just do a little bit on their own, maybe they're just getting started, they have a zombie mat, they have very little funds, they're trying to get things off the ground. How should they be spending their time marketing wise, or maybe social media wise, that's going to give them the most bang for their buck until they can get to a point where they can hire you?
Absolutely. Post frequently and make sure that it's real life. Like, don't overthink it. Don't, you're not, laundromats are never going to be, some insane major corporation. And I say that, but they are, because, there are distributors that own laundromats. But for the most part, they're never going to be some, insane, amazing thing.
Yeah. They're small businesses.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just make it real life. Like, make people, it's like talking to someone, make people like you. Like, you're selling yourself is how I would describe it. Mm-hmm. And post on social media, let them see you. You want them to want to walk in your doors.
Yeah. I think that's really good. Because, sorry, I'm just writing down your quote that you just said, because it was so good. You're selling yourself. Because, I can't do two things at once. Okay. Because I think that's so good, because it really is about that, right? It's your business, whether it's a small business or a big business, your business is going to take on your personality to an extent, your characteristics, your management style, all that stuff is going to be your business. So giving people kind of a behind the scenes and telling people on, hey, here's what we're all about as a business. We're all about being clean and safe. We're all about a positive environment. We're all about, convenience. We're all about speed. Whatever you're all about, like that is, what you're selling. That's what your differentiator, distinguisher that you have there, and you're selling yourself. And I think that's huge advice, especially for somebody who's starting out, who's trying to get things moving. Let the community know who you are, what you're all about, and why they should come check you out. Great advice.
Absolutely.
Great advice. Okay. Well, do you know of any like tools or resources that could be helpful for laundromat owners, that maybe if they're trying to get started, posting or anything?
So there's a few, not necessarily tools, but I always, whenever, so like I have a lot of people that are a lot of laundry owners that reach out to me and talk to me, even if they don't use my services, like, hey, what do you recommend? Always a kids center. I mean, for the most part, like if you're in an area where, it's just single couples, then that wouldn't make sense. But it's always a kids center that really makes sense. And it's, card systems. There's so many different card systems out there currently that are, and even more coming into the market. And that honestly is my two biggest recommendations.
Yeah. Well, and what's cool about both of those actually is that they're fairly easy to market at the, too, because I mean, it's real easy to post pictures of your kids corner. I think you gotta be careful about posting pictures of actual kids, but your kids corner, being able to highlight that. And it's also, those card systems make it pretty easy to run different promotions that then you can, shout about on your social media sites or your website or whatever. And integrate into your whole marketing plan that you have. So I think those are great. What about, I was just thinking about like posting on Facebook or Instagram or something. Like I've used like tools like Canva or something to be able to like throw some text on, or a border or something on an image.
Canva's okay. Facebook. So like, have you ever heard of Hootsuite?
Yeah, Hootsuite. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So Hootsuite used to be really big back in the day, and it still is big, but it is not good. and I don't. It's a great platform, but the Facebook algorithm has gotten so smart that they want people to use Business Suite or Creator Studio for Facebook, and they want people to use their own platforms instead of another platform. So with that being said, is that anytime that you can use your own platform, it's better. Like Canva is fantastic, but if you know how to use Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, then that's always going to be better, because it's coming, like when you create something in Illustrator, it's coming as in like your own original content, which I talked about earlier, and that's going to allow more exposure. So Canva it's great for beginners, but it is not the best. I mean, the algorithm's smart enough to know that it is what it is.
You're only came from Canva. Yeah. Just so everybody's on the same page, Hootsuite is a platform where you can post to different social media accounts kind of from one on the Hootsuite platform. It allows you to post to Facebook pages or Instagram or, whatever your platform of choice is. So yeah, and it all makes sense, right? So, put yourself in Facebook's shoes or any of these platforms, put yourself in their shoes, right? They want you to be on their platform, and because they make money when you and your customers are on the platform, right? Yes. So when you do things that take people off the platform, or when you're doing things from outside the platform and putting it on, it's not as beneficial to them than if you have original content that you're uploading to their platform. It's natively uploaded to their, to Facebook, to Instagram, to whatever. It's something that you created from scratch, and that adds a lot of value to the community, but it also adds a lot of value to the platform, whatever the platform is. So that makes a lot of sense there.
Yeah. And we have a system where, like, if it's a brand new laundromat that's just being built, then, it's a little different. But if it's the laundromat's open and stuff, so I have what I call the in-house editor. And so all of my social media strategists, they will create their posts, and then the in-house editor will go through and edit them all. And we don't even allow the same picture normally, unless like we're low on content, because if we're working with a laundromat owner or something. But normally we don't even want the same picture to be posted within 3 months.
Yeah, that's smart. That's smart, because those algorithms are smarter than us. So.
Way smarter than us.
Yeah. Well, this has been awesome. You have brought a ton of good information about social media. I think it's a big puzzle for a lot of small business owners in general, and not sure what they should be doing. But I thought you brought a lot of really great tips and really great advice, and also some kind of behind the scenes knowledge on these platforms and how they work and how to use them. So thanks for coming on. I got a couple more questions for you, so don't wrap up yet.
You're fine.
But I mean, the biggest one is, can you tell us a little bit about your company and what exactly you guys do and what you offer to laundromat owners?
Yes. So I own Center Social. That's the name of the company that I started in 2014. And we offer all types of online marketing, but we also do like graphic design. So if a laundromat's wanting printing or anything like that, And a little bit about us is that in April, we did a grand reopening because the first marketing company epically failed at the grand opening. So we did the grand reopening, and they were averaging on, and I mean, I'm talking a huge, huge laundry mat. Okay. I can't quite say the name and that kind of stuff because I'm under a non-disclosure agreement. Mm-hmm. But the first marketing company epically failed, and when we did it, we had 1 month to pull it off, and they were averaging during their week grand opening 7 turns a day.
Nice.
Per machine. Mm-hmm.
We'll take that all day, every day.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
So how does it work? So say, somebody wants to sign up with you. What is it that they need to do to help you guys help them? Do they need to get you content? How does that all work?
Yes. So we have a list of questions when a client signs up with us, like your machine brand, your machine sizes, like we need to know all of that. Mm-hmm. And then pictures is one of the most important things. We don't have any type of a contract because if we're making you money, you're going to keep paying us. Like that's our motto.
I like that.
So it's just about going back and forth, which marketing changes. So, in October, you may want to be pushing one thing, and then in November, it's starting to get closer to the holidays, and you want to push the bigger blankets, bring in your bigger blankets for your out of town guests that are coming in. Or something like that. So it is a partnership. We don't have to talk to you all the time, but we do like to talk to each individual owner at least once a month.
Nice. That doesn't sound too bad in terms of labor intensive for an owner. Man, that's awesome. Okay. So how do people find you? How do they get in touch with you if they're interested in what you're doing?
There's always Facebook and Instagram. My phone number is 606-272-7524. Okay. And then you can reach me at info@centersocial.com or Brittany@centersocial.com.
Awesome. And I will have links to all of that, the email address. I'll have the phone number, and I'll have your social media links in the show notes. And if you're on YouTube, they'll be down below in the description. Brittany, anything else you want to say before we wrap up? This has been awesome.
One thing is that if you think that your demographic is not on social media, you're wrong. They're on one of those platforms, and you're missing out by not reaching out to them in the laundromat world.
Yeah. If you're selling Lamborghinis, different story. But if you're in the laundromat world,
good.
There you go. Brittany, this has been incredible. Thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing a little bit about social media, helping us solve the social media puzzle. And man, we cannot wait to have you back on when you're a laundromat owner to hear about that experience. All right, what a cool episode with Brittany. She was super, super fun to have on the podcast. And we got to talk about a lot of very cool stuff, about social media and laundromats. Very, very cool. But as always, I just want to encourage you to, pick something from the episode, put it into action. For me, this week, I kind of got called out a little bit on the Tik Toc thing. So I got to get on Tik Toc, check that out a little bit more and see if maybe there's an opportunity there for my laundromats, or maybe even here on Laundromat Resource. I'm not really sure still exactly what that would look like, but I'm going to check it out because Brittany called me out. So good for her. So that's my to-do. What's your to-do? Pick something, put it into action. Again, action is what's going to help you accomplish your goals. It's going to lead you to success. And just learning about stuff, hearing these great stories, hearing these great tips is awesome as a first step, but it's not going to get you all the way there. So go take some action this week. Maybe head over to the forums, laundromatresource.com/forums, and share what your action step is for this week. I think that would be very cool if we all started doing that. Add a little bit of accountability to what we're doing, and who knows, maybe we'll make a make a special friend while we're at it. All right, laundromatresource.com/forums to go make a special friend. All right, guys, super cool. We will see you at the next thing, whatever that might be. If you're going to join us for a webinar, or if you're going to be on a YouTube channel, or if you're going to be listening to the podcast, if you're going to be on the blog or whatever. I mean, we got a ton of stuff going on. So wherever you're going to join us, we'll see you there. And if nothing else, we'll see you in the next episode of the Laundromat Resource Podcast next week. All right, guys.